Hey guys, today we have Soumya and he is having total 2.5 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices. And guys, those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Soumya, how are you?
Yeah, and what?
Shall we start?
Yeah,
So Soumya, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
yeah. So I'm Somnath Proklit and I'm currently working for IBM for more than 2.5 years of experience. And
Mm-hmm.
my recent project was on Java backend, and my recent project was on credit card customer service, and it was providing the snapshot for the credit card details
Okay.
and was publishing
Mm-hmm.
it further using Kafka.
So how you guys are
And
calculating credit card scores?
actually, in that application, I didn't actually calculate the score. It
Okay.
was like a snapshot for all the details, like
Mm-hmm.
related to the customer, like core customer details, like email, address, everything related to that person.
Customer. Okay.
Yeah.
What are the Java version that you are using?
So I use Java 8 and
Java
Java
8.
17
Java
currently.
17.
Yeah.
Can you tell
Yeah.
me some new features that were introduced in Java 8 as well as that were introduced in Java 17?
So in Java 8, there were multiple features like
Mm-hmm.
interfaces, new interfaces like
Mm-hmm.
predicate,
Okay,
supplier,
got it.
and streams.
Correct.
Like also we have optional,
Mm-hmm.
and apart from that in Java 17 I didn't use much feature, but I know one of that like shield functions were there.
Correct.
Yeah,
Cool.
but mostly the function which were used were like from
Mm.
Java 8 only
Okay, okay.
because it was a major update.
Mm. Okay. Uh, can you explain the four pillars of OOP as well as you have to describe a real world problem that you have solved by applying these pillars?
Okay, so there are four pillars. First is inheritance. So if we have one class, we can inherit the properties into the another subclass. Instead of like creating a lot of code, it will just like we can use the parent class. So like if we have some class which is having the details, and it will have the say we can have the subclass which will have the similar implementations or members. We can just implement that like in a is a relationship. And the second is polymorphism, like there are overriding, overloading. So overriding we are using like to override
Mm. Just give a brief
some.
introduction about four
Yeah,
pillars.
okay.
I'm more interested to
Yeah,
know about how did you solve any
yeah,
problem by using
yeah,
these
okay.
four pillars.
Polymorphism means like there are one thing and various behavior, and
Mhm.
in that we have overriding, overloading, and then we have abstraction. In that we abstract the code, like we don't want the outside person to see the implementation, so we hide it. And then there is encapsulation, which we encapsulate the data members and the data. So in my project, like we have used polymorphism, overloading, overriding. Like if we want some, we had some methods where we just need the same method name but different parameters. So there we have used that. And in encapsulation, sorry, abstraction, we have used like in service and service implementation. Like we can have the service interface and then we can implement that, so it achieves the uh, abstraction. And
Mhm.
also encapsulation by using getter setters, like we can
Got it, got it.
hide the variables. Yeah.
So Soumya, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by step by myself, expert MNC's interviews. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There's a 99% chance that the interviewers will ask questions from this material. So basically, it contains a lot of material categorized by experience level, means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question answers for the Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone needs this material plus two real enterprise client projects for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check the interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. So Soumya, can you tell me the difference between an interface and an abstract class?
Yeah, so abstract class, in that we can have concrete methods as well, but in interface we have default methods. Okay, and in interface is considered more. It provides us 100% abstraction,
Mm-hmm.
whereas abstract class does not provide us that. In abstract, the methods can be anything apart from private,
Mm-hmm.
but in but but in interface it should be public. And it also provide us one more uh, in so in interface, like we can have the variables. It needs to be uh, private static, and in abstract class we can
Mm-hmm.
have anything apart from private. Yeah.
Got it. Can you describe a design decision where choosing between an interface and an abstract class significantly impacted the application's architecture?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. So used interfaces to achieve multiple inheritance for different data processing strategies and improving the flexibility.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you implement multiple inheritance using interfaces?
Multiple inheritance. So
Hmm.
with implements we can uh, im implement multiple interface in our interface, like we can extend multiple classes, multiple interfaces, sorry.
Okay. By implementing multiple interfaces in a class, right? Okay. So could
Yeah.
you please provide an example where multiple inheritance or I could say multi-level inheritance would be used?
Multi-level.
Hmm.
With extents we cannot do multi-level.
Like cannot we do A class A extend B, B extend C, C extend A? This is multi-level, right?
Yeah, we can do. Yeah, we can
Mhm.
do. Yeah.
Like a
We
vehicle
cannot do
class,
multiple. We cannot do multiple. We can do multi-level. Yeah.
multi-level. Like
Yeah.
vehicle extends, sorry, car
Yeah.
extends
Yeah.
vehicle, and maybe
Yeah.
Maruti extends car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
with interface, like we can do that
Mm-hmm.
multiple one.
Multiple one.
With
Okay.
extents, we can do multi-level as well. So
Mm-hmm.
one interface can implement another interface. So one interface can implement many interface at once.
Mm-hmm.
But in extents, we cannot do the same thing.
Got it. Got it. Um, can you explain the concept of Java collections?
Java collection, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Java collection is an interface provided
Okay.
in collection API, which
Mm-hmm.
help us to which provide us the objects of different type of interfaces that we
Mm-hmm.
can work on instead of working on the data directly. We get the objects,
Mm-hmm.
a list of objects, like we get a sequence of objects in that on which we can work upon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. Have you used collections to handle concurrency issues?
um, yeah,
Where?
we used concurrent hash map,
Concurrent hash map.
like
Yep.
yeah. So there was one
Where?
scenario where uh,
Mm-hmm.
like there was a scenario where we need to update it while iterating as well. So
Mm-hmm.
in that scenario, we use that to avoid that concurrent exception, modification
Mm-hmm.
exception issue.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
correct. Can you
Yeah.
explain the difference between array list and linked list and how do you choose between array list and linked list?
So array list is like is working on the dynamic array, is based
Mhm.
on a dynamic array.
Okay.
Whereas linked list is based on like it has a node which has a data and reference to next node or a reference to a previous node. Okay. And array list uh, array list is an indexed array
Mm-hmm.
in which if we do a random search, it gives us a result as fast result. But in linked list, we need to check for the nodes. So it is
Mm-hmm.
time consuming for that operation. But
Mm-hmm.
in case of linked list, like we can do the addition at the middle faster, as we don't need to shift a lot of elements. But in case of array list, we need to do a lot of shifting and then copying the array into a new copying the array list into a new array list. So it's time consuming
Mm-hmm.
on that operation. So it depends. Like if we want to do at start and end, we
Mm-hmm.
can use array list, and if we want like in the middle, so we can
Mm-hmm.
use linked list.
Okay, got it. Um, can you explain about functional interface?
Yeah. So functional interface is an interface in which only one abstract method will be there. So we can just even if we don't provide any implementation, we can just have the lambda expression for that. You can say like uh, anonymous implementation.
Okay. Can you please describe a situation where a functional interface was the best solution for you?
Mhm. I never directly did that, but I know like when we just needed a one method and we don't want like more methods in that, so we can just have class for that
Mm-hmm.
and provide an anonymous implementation directly.
Okay. Okay, got it. Can you tell me how does Java handle exceptions?
Yeah, so Java handles the exception directly from the JVM. If we
Mm-hmm.
don't give any exception handling code, then
Mm-hmm.
it will directly throw a error and the program will
Okay.
stop. But if we provide we can provide the exception handling code for the runtime exceptions, unchecked exceptions directly. Uh, so we need to give for checked exception as well. But for unchecked exception, even if we don't do, the JVM can handle it, but it will throw a error. But so we
Hmm.
can handle it using try catch, throw. So there are
Okay.
multiple ways to throw. Yeah.
What are the differences between runtime and compile time exceptions?
So runtime exceptions are the exceptions. Like even if we don't handle it, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that the code will compile,
Okay.
such as like all the unchecked exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But in case of compile time, if you don't handle it, it will throw as a compile time error and it will
Okay.
not run. Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Can you explain the importance of finally block in exception handling?
Yeah. So finally block is mainly used. It will run in any
Mm-hmm.
case. Like even if we have return statement in another
Mm-hmm.
blocks, try block, catch block, it will run from the finally block only. Finally block will run in any situation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In case of exit only, it will not run or some other big issues or errors.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will run, and
Mm-hmm.
we can mostly it is used for closing the resources,
Mm-hmm.
like closing the executor service,
Got
like
it.
that.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there ever a time when the finally block caused any unexpected behavior or any side effects?
Maybe it will not run in case of system dot exit or some bigger
No,
issues that is
actually, there might be performance issues if we are doing
okay.
heavy operations inside the finally block.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what are the benefits that our Spring Boot offers?
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it provides us the everything is the Spring life cycle is managed by the
Mm-hmm.
sorry, not that it is advantage of Spring. I am telling for like Spring Boot. So it provides us auto configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It has a Tomcat server
Correct.
inside it. We don't need to do a lot of manual configurations for the
Correct.
servlets.
Dependency management also.
Dependency management, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Spring Boot help us, and Spring Boot provides us a lot of services like DAO layer. We have repository for DAO layers,
Mm-hmm.
and also it provides us the different type of environments, test
Okay.
environment, prod
Okay.
environment.
So can
Yeah.
you please explain a specific feature of Spring Boot that you used to solve a complex problem in any of your project, whether it's professional or personal?
In case of like debugging, I used to send a request from Postman, and using
Mm-hmm.
the debugger and loggers, I used to
Mm-hmm.
check if there is some issues in the code, or like if the values are getting passed properly. Also,
Mm-hmm.
like uh, if the some value is coming from REST template or some
Mm-hmm.
other downstream, like I used to check with loggers only. And there was actuator service as well, in which we
Mm-hmm.
can check if the our application is working fine, or like what is the health for that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. You might have created REST API from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
can you tell me how can we create it?
REST API.
Yeah, from the
Okay.
scratch.
So we will have the controller first.
Mm-hmm.
We can annotate that with REST controller.
Okay.
Then have the then we can have a path, and
Mm-hmm.
like we can create methods. If
Mm-hmm.
we have to create get, so
Mm-hmm.
we can have get mapping,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can provide the path there, additional
Mm-hmm.
path if we want. Then according to that, we can pass ID or whatever the thing we need to whatever value we need to pass in the path.
Mm-hmm.
So according to that, we need to auto wire service.
Mm-hmm.
Then service, we need to call the service from there.
Mm-hmm.
Then the service interface will be further move to service implementation.
Mm-hmm.
There we can provide our business logic, and in that method, like we can have all our business
Mm-hmm.
logic.
Mm-hmm.
In case we need the DB access, like we need
Mm-hmm.
to have a repository
Mm-hmm.
that will also be auto-wired in the service layer. That
Mm-hmm.
then that repository will call that DB,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. Then the DB the response back to the controller
Got it.
in the same flow. Yeah.
Okay. Which annotations do you find most useful while writing REST API?
Mostly at the rate controller, auto-wired, uh,
Okay.
uh, getter setters, builder.
At AutoAdd is important. I mean, you think
Yeah.
cannot we
No, no,
bypass
no.
AutoAdd
Nah,
annotations?
yeah, yeah, we can bypass that using constructor as well. It
Mm-hmm.
depends. Like mostly we use the constructor as well, but in
Constructor
sometimes
injection
like
is
at
a
all.
better option, right?
Yeah,
Among the field injection and setter injection.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It provides us the full fields. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah,
Can you tell me the difference between controller and REST controller?
yeah. So controller is related to the Spring MVC,
Mm-hmm.
and REST controller is related to this Spring Boot. So sorry, Spring and Spring Boot.
Mm-hmm.
And the main difference is like in a controller, we don't have response entity annotation.
Mm-hmm.
But in REST controller, we
Why do
have
we use
controller.
response entity annotation?
So it gives us the it serialize the response
Mm-hmm.
uh, into the JSON or XML depending upon our
Okay.
request.
Why do we use uh, REST template?
Yeah, we use REST template. If we have some another microservice which we want to call,
Okay.
like we can use exchange method in REST
Mm.
template. We can first create a bean and then use that and call the downstream service and get the response, and then like we can further use it in our service.
Okay, what's the difference between put and patch?
So input, like uh, we will uh, we will change the entire entry, and in patch we will if the entry is already there, like we will do the partial update.
Yeah, a small update means patch, a big update means update. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, put.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Have you used Spring Data JPA? And if yes, then how it is different from Hibernate?
So yeah, I have actually I didn't used it. I have used it in a personal project,
Okay.
but data JPA, like it is a implementation of a Hibernate and JPA.
Mm-hmm.
It provides us the automatic methods. We do not need to create the queries for that,
Mm-hmm.
and we already have methods in that.
Mm-hmm.
In the we just need to implement the JPA repository or CRUD repository, paging sorting
Mm-hmm.
repository, like that. But in Hibernate, we need to work with persistence, and uh, we need to work directly with sessions, persistence, and whatever, like session manager, session factory.
Mm. Got it.
Yeah.
Have you used transactional annotation?
Yeah, I have used that. So I have used transactional in a scenario where there were more than one transaction happening into the database.
Mm-hmm.
So in case one is failing, we
Mm.
don't want it to commit.
Okay.
In case all the operations are getting successful, then only it will be committed.
Got it. Correct.
Yeah.
Can we use transactional annotation on private methods?
I don't think so.
Why? Why don't you think so? Why don't you think so?
Because
Because private methods don't work with proxies. They
what
are
proxies?
proxies. When we
Okay.
create when we add the
Okay.
transaction annotations, it means we are creating proxies internally. Okay,
Okay.
you can learn about this.
Mhm.
You can learn about the internal working of transactional annotation as well, like how it works
Okay.
internally. There are several steps, right?
Okay.
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 Moving ahead, is it possible to use multiple databases in a single Spring Boot projects?
Yeah, it's possible. Like we can, but it is suggested in microservice to have one database per application.
One database per application. It is suggested in microservices. Are you sure? You
Yeah,
mean
I have
single database, single schema for all the microservices?
not table, like a database.
Yeah, I mean database means, for example, um, I think there should be a different database. I mean database per service. That's a best practice, right?
Per microservice, right?
Yes, per microservice.
Yeah, per microservice, one database. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I am saying.
Yeah,
We can have
okay.
different tables in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving ahead, tell me how do you test a Spring Boot application?
So Spring Boot application I tested in two ways. Directly locally
Mm-hmm.
locally using Postman.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can just boot run it and then test it using Postman and providing all the parameters and stuff.
Okay.
Or else like if in local it's not working, like we used to have a pipeline in
Mm-hmm.
which it used to deploy in OCP clusters where
Mm-hmm.
we used to have a pod and we can directly test using the cookie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How would you mock async annotation?
Async.
Yep.
Actually, I didn't work on that.
Do you know about async annotation? Do you know about
I know
asynchronous
asynchronous.
communication?
I know asynchronous communication, but I have not used
Yeah,
at
tell
that
me about
async.
asynchronous communication then.
So in if we wanted to have multiple thread working simultaneously without affecting the application, like
Mm-hmm.
we will have asynchronous communication,
Okay.
like in Kafka. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what's the purpose? I mean, let's say if we are working on a project, right? When should we use
Yeah.
asynchronous communication? When should we use synchronous communication?
If
Okay. For example, we should use asynchronous communication where two or more tasks are independent. Okay. For example, let's say we are working on an e-commerce application. Okay.
yeah,
Or we could say, let's say we are working on some insurance system or anywhere. And if we want to send emails, multiple events, so we could send
yeah,
those asynchronously because one email is independent with the another one. We should not wait for one another. We could send
yeah,
we could broadcast the emails, right?
yeah,
And synchronous, as we know, if one task is dependent on another, then we should use synchronous communication. Let's say
yeah,
if we need to update the database, but we need some
yeah,
data from maybe a downstream service. So we should first call downstream service, then we should call the database to update. These are synchronous
yeah,
operations, right? But
yeah,
asynchronously, sending the emails, notifications, right? Updates, there we could use
yeah,
asynchronous.
yeah.
Okay, moving ahead. What do you think? Monolithic is better or microservice architecture is better
I think microservices is better because we
in
have
every
individual
case?
component. Not in every case. Like
Okay. In what cases it is better and in what cases it is not better?
if we have multiple modules,
Mm-hmm.
like we can use microservices because uh, it will be loosely coupled.
Mm-hmm.
But in case of simple applications, like it is preferred to use monolith because it will not be very
Yeah, yeah,
complex.
yeah. For a small applications, we should consider monolithic architecture. And if some client is worrying about the cost, then also in that case, we should use the monolithic because cost would be high in the
Yeah,
microservices because there will be different testers for the different microservices, different developers for the different microservices, right? And
yeah,
testing and managing and everything would be cost effective.
yeah,
Okay. Moving ahead, do you use Git commands?
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How do you resolve Git conflicts?
Um, Rebase.
No, Rebase, I don't know. Like in your project, is there any guidelines or something that you guys follow? Let's say you or your teammate is working on a same branch and you are facing some
Yeah.
conflict. So how would you?
So in my case, like we used to use IntelliJ. So like I used to
Sorry.
check if what in my project I used IntelliJ IDE. So in that we used to get the uh, UI in which like we can compare the changes between the two. So
Okay. Don't you
so
use
according
tortoise
to
and all?
no.
Okay. Tell me the Git commands that you used most of the time or in your day-to-day task.
So first, if we need to create, we used to create a new branch.
Mm-hmm.
Then like uh, you can check out it.
Okay.
Then we used to start working on that. And
Mm-hmm.
once we are done, like we can rename the we can commit and then push it to the our branch, and then
Mm-hmm.
the pipeline is to trigger.
Okay, can you tell me the difference between Maven clean and Maven install?
Maven install is like building the application,
Okay,
and Maven clean is like restarting the application.
okay.
It is cleaning the earlier build and then freshly creating it.
Hmm, got it.
Yeah.
What are the phases of Maven clean install? Do you know?
Actually, I used Gradle in my
Oh,
project.
you use Gradle. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's the difference between, I mean, why should we use Gradle? Do you have some points, strong points in favor of Gradle?
Mm, it it provides us like more cleaner build or Gradle. Like the dependencies which we wrote in that build or
Hmm.
Gradle, it was easily readable, and like it was more understandable as Maven. In Maven, like it's a lot of lines, and like
Hmm.
it doesn't look clean. Apart from that, in functional way, I'm not sure. It was client requirement, so we worked
Hmm.
according to
Okay,
that.
okay. It's a client requirement.
Yeah,
But personally,
yeah.
if someone asks you to choose any options, Maven or Gradle, so which one would you use?
I'm okay with both because I created a personal project on Maven, so
You
I'm
are okay
comfortable
with
with both.
both, but
Yeah,
you are asked to
yeah.
start the work now. You have to choose anyone. So which one would you choose?
I will choose build or better.
Build dot Gradle. Fine.
Yeah,
Okay. Um,
yeah.
so do you guys have peer reviews in your branches?
Review with the seniors, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so once the changes are done and the testing is done, we used to check with the architect regarding
Hmm.
if there is any review comments on that.
Hmm.
Once they used to give the review comments, we used to fix that, and then one more round of review with the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So regarding the logic, if there is some bugs
Are you
or
using any
if
AI
naming
tools?
convention, yeah, Copilot I used. Like in
Copilot.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I
So
need to, yeah,
you ask a Copilot to do your hands-on, or you do your hands-on by yourself?
I asked him as well in case of like we need to create some Pojo classes.
Him or
Like
her?
it's a we cannot say that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yep. So, okay, cool. Yes, it's done from my end, and it was a
yeah.
nice interview, Soumya.